Hello, welcome to StackGenius, the podcast for data driven investment professionals. My name is Sylvan. I'm greeting you wherever you are in the world right now. And I'm also greeting Nathan, who I think is in San Fran or somewhere near. Is that right?
Yes, sir. How are you? Good to see you.
Good having you. Yeah, thanks for investing time with us. And, actually, you have two cool products that we can speak about. So I would love to hear everything about Fundingstack and also about Foundersuite. I mean, despite the name, I mean, those are products geared towards investment professionals. How would you describe those two products?
Yeah, so Founder Suite is our legacy product. It's been around over 7 years, and it is aimed at startups raising capital. That's something we put out there, and it's been used by about 50,000 startups all over the globe to raise 15 billion in angel, VC, et cetera. And we started to get some VCs and funding advisors and investment bankers using it, and they said, hey, I like this product. I'm using it with my client or my portfolio company, but I've got 5 other portfolio companies. How do I work with them? And so we launched Fundingstack as a way to do that. And now Fundingstack is its own platform. It was kind of nested underneath Foundersuite. Fundingstack is now its own platform. And
Hmm.
its two main use cases are it's used by VCs and emerging managers to raise a fund because we have a lot of LPs in our database. And it's used by uh, VCs, investment bankers, funding advisors to help their portfolio companies and clients raise capital. So,
Interesting.
yeah,
I like that. I mean, nothing beats some visual aid. So, can you show me a little bit, or us for that matter, how it looks and how it feels like?
absolutely. Let me jump
So,
into this.
yeah, here we are. Now we're on stage.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can.
So this is what Fundingstack looks like, and we have 6 different products. What you're looking at here is the investor CRM. So this is what you would use to manage a pipeline of investors. And if you can read the columns, I mean, this is all very customizable, but as an example, we've got a research column, sent intro email, sent deck, viewed deck, responded, pitch, diligence, committed, said no. So this is an example of an investor pipeline. And what's unique about this, and one of the things I am really keen on, is you can set up multiple sub accounts. So, for example, let's say you're a venture capitalist on your first fund, maybe you're thinking about raising your second fund. You
Mhm.
could set up one pipeline to manage your LP pipeline of the people you're talking to raise a fund, and then you can set up sub accounts for all of your portfolio companies. And under those sub accounts, you can then help them populate their pipeline with investors and assist them with their fundraise. Uh,
Interesting. Do you have visibility of that then? So if you're the fund that has given this access to your team or to your investment team?
yes, absolutely. You would be able to see their pipeline. Let's here's pretend this is a client account, Carnegie Steel. Maybe this is one of your portfolio companies. You'd be
Mhm.
able to see their pipeline. Maybe they're in the Series A, um, and you'd be able to see all their data, and you'd be able to come in and really work with your companies if that's something you do. Like one thing I love it when VCs might come in and actually set up a pipeline for their portfolio companies
Mhm.
and then invite the CEO of that portfolio company in. So the CEO has a ready-made pipeline of target investors. And then, of course, the CEO could come in, search our database for more investors. That VC or that investor could, look at their research list. Maybe they know someone at LDV Ventures. They
Mhm.
could come down and tag themselves as the connector, the person that's going to be making the intro. They could add more investors to their pipeline. They can see the pitch decks going out. They can see uh,
Mhm.
all the good stuff.
And when you just spoke about that, I was asking myself, so which things does it not do? Does it have like Would you do workflow engine like robotic process automation, automated messages, and these type of things inside this tool or outside?
So we do some of that. We don't have sequences yet, but what we
Mm-hmm.
do have, we have investor database. So let me actually rewind the clock.
Sure.
Typically, when you first come in here, this is going to be empty, of course, right? The empty CRM. So first step is usually populating that CRM, and that's either by bringing in your own list of investors or by searching our database. I
Mm-hmm.
was just doing a call with a emerging manager venture fund in Amsterdam,
Mm-hmm.
and we looked at LPs based in the Netherlands, and this is the list we have here. So, step one would typically be finding investor targets, doing a little research on them, adding them to the CRM. But then, really, to your question, once I've built a list of target investors, we've got what I call our marketing tools. So, like I said, we don't have automated sequences, but what you can do is, choose your pipeline. Let's see, I'm sending out to my LPs. I can pick a bunch of investors from that pipeline. I can create customized, personalized emails. We have various email templates that you can choose from. You can also create your own email templates. Most people have, a handful of emails they use over and over again. And then add your footer, attach a deck, whatever you want to do, and then send it out. So this is going to send out to 50 investors at once. Each one's going to get a personalized, customized email that is
Right.
sent individually from your email account. This isn't like a MailChimp or something that's going out as a blast. It's going to look and feel like you hand wrote 50 individual emails to these investors. And it's great for like doing follow-up emails, right? I sent you our deck last week. Can we schedule a time to look at that? And then, kind of pinging off that a bit is our other marketing tools, which is really the Pitchdeck hosting, investor updates. And so this is where you would use to, upload your deck, create a online version of that deck, send it out through the system. You can
So
go in and
DocSend. Yeah.
it's like DocSend Lite. Yeah, it doesn't have all
Mhm.
the bells and whistles of DocSend, but it's similar to that in that you can track views of who's viewing it, how much time
Mm.
they're spending.
Oh, my good.
Um, yeah,
And one more question, if I may double click what you uh, showed earlier, the investor database. So that's built in, right? So you don't need to have a separate, I don't know, PitchBook account in order to get all these investors here.
yeah, it's built in. We've got about 216,000 investors in here, and
Hmm.
we've got them categorized by type of investor.
Hmm.
Um, Angels, VCs, family offices,
Hmm.
trusts, fund of funds,
Hmm.
even up to private equity lenders. I think we have about 16,000 LPs of various types. And so, yes, you're absolutely right. Excuse me, the database is built in. And in many ways, I don't really like to say we are X plus Y, but people come to us and say, oh, you're kind of like a PitchBook plus a HubSpot plus a DocSend plus a Merrill data site, because we have a data room as well. So we are in many ways um, replacing 5 or 6 other tools that people might be using into one integrated platform.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, what else should people know about Fundingstack? Or are we moving to Foundersuite already?
Yeah. So the other things I'll mention real quick is the investor update tool. This is part of the marketing collection here. And this is just a nice, simple way to build an update to investors. So I often tell folks start off building your target list of investors, of course, and then in our email tool, perhaps start with the permission email, and then get into sending them a regular update about your progress, about your traction, how the fundraise is going, and then just to put the final touches on it, we have a data room
Hmm.
that is what you would use to send out the confidential information, right? So you come in here, you create a set of folders, you populate those folders with your documents, your financials, your corporate docs, all that good stuff. And then you can invite investors in either to the entire data room or just to a specific folder or even just to a specific file. And you can designate what they can do, whether it's download, view, print,
Right.
etc. So
So that's
good way to
Firmax
run.
Lite, basically.
Yeah. It's got all the core features of data room, watermarking, analytics, permissions, but it's pretty simple, pretty easy to get going,
Hmm.
and that's what you would use to do your due diligence and get the deal done.
Very cool. Okay, so that's VDR is a part of Foundersuite. What else does Foundersuite do?
So this is the VDR is part of both Fundingstack and Foundersuite.
Ah,
So Foundersuite, let me open that up. Actually, I didn't have that open. Foundersuite is going to be similar to Fundingstack. It's a bit of a slightly older UI. This is our legacy platform. Now we are
hmm.
completely rebuilding this, rewriting all the code from the ground up, and we are targeting late January, early February for a release, Foundersuite 2.0. So Foundersuite does much of the same things. It has an investor database. It has the Pitchdeck hosting. It has a CRM. What is different, obviously the UI is different, but what is, one of the main things that's different is Foundersuite only is one company. So this would be for one single startup.
Hmm.
To run a pipeline. Whereas Fundingstack, like I mentioned, you can have multiple sub accounts, each with different deal teams, each with different pipelines. And those deal teams, like if you invited a portfolio company into one sub account, they would not be able to view the other sub accounts. Fundingstack also has some analytics, so you can see all your deals, all your companies on one screen, how they're doing on fundraising. But Foundersuite has much of that same functionality that I talked about, ability to search a database of investors, build an investor pipeline. Of course, you're moving these investors around the card. You're keeping track of notes, tasks, activities, all the email threads going on. It pulls those emails in automatically. So it has a lot of pretty rich functionality as well. But again, yeah.
Okay, if I'm trying to put that into perspective, so if I'm a VC, I would use Fundingstack. I might give access to the portfolio companies so that they can use it too. I do have CRM functionalities. I have the functionalities I need to run everything up until portfolio management. That would be separate somewhere else, right? The LP reporting and those type of things.
Yeah, we do have some VCs using Foundersuite, just to confuse matters a little bit. Um, because like I said, I mean, we built Fundingstack as a version of Foundersuite, and then we spun it off, and
Mhm.
we haven't even publicly launched it yet. It's still in private beta, but that is the biggest difference: ability to run multiple accounts under one. The other main differences are we're adding a lot more LPs to the Fundingstack database. So we have a variety of, pretty high value custom lists of investors, such as wealth management, multifamily offices, another list that is family offices and NLPs that invest in venture funds. So we're putting
Mhm.
a lot of time and resources into building out an LP database, which will be in Fundingstack. So that's another very large differentiator.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
What else should people remember or know about either product? Is there a feature that everybody loves most?
It's funny. I mean, we have so many features, right? Investor database, CRM, pitch hosting, investor updates, data room, email tools, documents. Um, I'd say what people love the most is it's probably 50-50. Either the database of investors. You want to find a high quality database of investors. You don't want to pay 30,000 to 50,000 per year that many of the incumbents charge. We've got that at a very affordable price point. The other thing people love is the investor CRM. We've really built the CRM with a lot of thought and functionality specifically around how fundraising works in the real world. A lot of little nuances and details. And, both startups and VCs love it a lot because it's really geared towards that purpose of raising capital, either from VCs or LPs. And it's really collaborative. So you can come in and work with advisors, existing investors. If you have some existing investors are going to work with you, we call it fundraising as a team sport. It's very much built around that. So investor database and CRM are kind of the workhorse products. The rest is, helpful on the marketing and due diligence side.
That's cool. Yeah, you touched on the topic of price a little bit there. So, how does pricing work in general? So, is it seat-based, or what do you want people to know about that?
Pricing for Fundingstack is seat-based. It is
Mhm.
$250 per seat per month, and that includes access to the product, the platform, the database, the CRM. The data room is an upsell or an add-on. That's going to be $150 a month per data room. So it's $250 per seat, $150 add-on for the data room, and that's it. There are no other fees or charges, and that gets you access. Now, if you are, and it's a month-to-month contract, month-to-month subscription, no contract. So you can come in for a month, cancel if it's not for you. If you are willing to go to an annual plan, then we have a lot of these premium investor data sets that we will drop into your account. The things like the wealth management, multifamily offices. We have lists of celebrity, musician, athlete investors. We have early employees at a dozen companies that have gone public. So some pretty interesting, investor sets that we are willing to drop into people's who do an annual plan.
That sounds great because I have a man crush on Tom Hardy. So if you can get me his email, I would appreciate it.
Well, we probably do. If it's findable, we probably have it. So
Right. All right. I will not pest him. So, he should make good movies. Anyway, so maybe then, just in closing, because conversation with you is always fun, just to pick your brain a little bit on the state of the industry, maybe. So I feel there's so much software out there, both for investors, but also SaaS in general. So do you think there's a consolidation happening? Why is there not wider adoption by VCs of a lot of cool tech? What are your thoughts?
it's a really interesting question. I mean, I think uh, we're at a kind of an interesting junction or turning point. VCs have, in many cases, gone one of two ways in the past. They've either written a very large check to Salesforce or sometimes HubSpot and used those tools to do their processes. There are some other VC focused CRMs out there that have come on in the last few years, but I've talked to a lot of VCs who have built their own products because they didn't really find anything they liked, right? So there's a lot of VCs who either paid Salesforce or they've built their own things. I think a lot of those are, gradually weaning themselves off their own products. It's actually pretty hard to build these products and it's hard to maintain them and all that stuff. So I think VCs are like, all right, I think we actually need to buy something off the shelf. So I think that's one thing. I think a lot of the emerging manager VCs are looking for more off the shelf things versus trying to build it, right? They're more cost conscious. And we see a pretty big opportunity in tapping those emerging managers, especially because with our product, you get all of these tools, the CRM, the database, for a pretty low price point that you can't really match buying, individual products for each one. What was the other part of that question? I think I missed part of it.
No, the consolidation, I think indirectly you spoke about it, right? That the demand is coming up now. So yeah, I appreciate that thought. No, superb, Nathan. So, thanks for spending time with us and showing us the goods. So, I wish you a very pleasant day. And when I'm next in the Bay Area, I will let you know. And until then, greetings go out to you.
Great. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, take care.